I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're delighted to introduce you to a very talented author. His name is Dr. Patric Leedom, and he has written a captivating book, I Wish to Live My Life Deliberately. This isn't just a memoir. It's an invitation to join the doctor's exhilarating adventure of pursuing dreams, discovering life's purpose, and navigating unexpected detours. Buckle up, because this story will challenge you to live every moment with intention. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight, and we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his wonderful book. The links are below this interview. Doctor, great to see you here this morning.
Good morning. I'm very glad to see you, sir.
Great to have you on our show. I love dreamers. You're not only a dreamer, you're a doer and an achiever. And those three things are wonderful. Your book talks a lot about dreams needing fine-tuning and adjustments at times based on reality. Tell us a little bit about how we adjust our dreams, how we stay motivated when facing setbacks.
How can we say that once more?
I was saying, how can we stay motivated, even though at times we have setbacks when pursuing our dreams?
Well, one of my secrets is I generally only hang out with people that are positive and, going forward and are creative and are willing to interact with me.
Absolutely. And that's a big part of it. There is like a negative contagion. If you're around cynical people, if you're around negative people, they have a problem for every solution, don't you think?
No Eeyores in my life.
Exactly. Tell me a little bit about, I like that, no Eeyores in my life, the sad Sams, right? For sure.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about some pivotal moments in your life's journey that helped you define your meaning of life.
When I lived alone with my mother, she was at work in the daytime and she was work at night. And sometimes I got too involved with the local police department.
Mm-hmm.
So my mother decided maybe I should go to a military boarding school. And I did. And they make you do your homework, which I wasn't doing before. And I suddenly worked hard. I became the academic leader of my class, and that also made me the military leader of my class. And I marched my classmates to and from class. I was given responsibility, and I learned to be a student. I learned to be a leader. So that I was there 3 years. And I think it led to my future Navy career with the military. That's number one. Number two was choosing to move to California. I lived in Hollywood, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
when I was in UCLA. I lived in Laurel Canyon, but I lived with my father in California. He had raised some other children, so he was much more of my hands-on parents. And he was a very fabulous man. It's a long story, but he was a newspaper writer and editor. And you may remember, I don't know if you're old enough to remember, in July of 65, Watts, the suburb of Los Angeles, broke into a large race riot with death and destruction.
Sure.
My father was just up the road 20 minutes from Pasadena at the Pasadena Independent Star News. And he had been very active in community building, both with the Black house hands and the Black field hands. So he had connections. And the leaders of the city asked him to please keep the city from being involved in riots. And so he did. And I learned a lot from my father on how to build relations in the community and how to reach out and help other people.
Mm-hmm.
That was pivotal. I wound up going to Laguna Beach High School down on the coast there,
Mm-hmm.
and the students were very warming and welcoming, and it was a very positive experience. My father, when I went to live with him, he introduced me to his church's youth group.
Mm.
And I was kind of shy. I'd been in an all boys school for years. I didn't quite really know how to talk to girls. And but these men, girls and boys, were very active. Our youth group was concerned with bringing in all kinds of youth from different ethnic groups. So I learned that. Um, I those were some of them.
Yeah.
Let's see, pivotal moments. Um, well, at the age of 16, I was hired as a construction laborer.
Mm.
And while I was only 16, I was doing the work of a man, tuck pointing and air hammer work and building concrete and stuff like that. And the men looked out after me and helped me. And my superintendent helped me to grow into a man. That's a few of them.
Yeah, those are great points. One, let's talk about a little bit about your life there. It shows that your mother was a pivotal person in your life because she put you in the right direction by getting you into that military school, which a lot of kids obviously would like, nah, I don't want to go. But it turned out to be a great thing and a life-shaping force. Your father's influence as well had a very defining impact on you. And then when you started working in construction at a very young age, things that guys and gals used to do back in the day. Nowadays, their parents would be in jail because the kids are working at 16. But, I worked at 14, 13 myself as well. And we found mentors. It sounds like the men that you worked with were teaching you how to be a man, how to work with the equipment, and how to watch out for you and watch out for your coworker, your fellow man. So I think those are three very, very important influences in your life that help shape your life, don't you think? And eventually this all led to a 24-year-long career in the Navy. Tell us about that experience.
Yes. Well, when I was 22, I met a high school classmate on the campus of San Francisco State College. And I said, no, let's go out for the weekend. He said, no, I really can't. It's submarine reserves. I said, no. And the draft board was probably pretty close to selecting me. I said, no, sit down and talk to me. So after an hour, I said, take me with you. And I joined the submarine reserves right after the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah.
And then when I went on active duty in 65, they put me on two of the old World War II diesel electric submarines, and there were still World War II sailors on board those ships. And each ship that I was on made a 6-month deployment to the Orient. So I wound up traveling a lot in Japan and Taiwan and South Korea and Hong Kong and Thailand, the Philippines, Australia.
Wonderful. And that turned your life into an adventure.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, one of my funny stories was we arrived in Hong Kong. I had duty the first night, so I didn't go anywhere. The second day, I put on my uniform. I took the trolley to the top of Victoria Peak. There was a restaurant there at the top, open air. I walked through the stone gates, and these voices said, "Hey, sailor, come over here." And I went over, and it was a group of young Americans. They were in a private Peace Corps. They were getting ready to go to Laos the very next day. They said, "This is our last night. Why don't you sit down and join us?" So I had lunch with them. They took me back to the hotel room. Then we had a feast in the Hong Kong Hilton at the Eagle's Nest. And I'm sitting there enjoying the banquet, and in the door walks my captain, my executive officer, my boss, and they're doing the Hollywood thing of scoping it out. And all of a sudden, Leedom, doing? Oh, come on over and meet my new friends.
Amazing. Amazing. That sounds like quite an experience, that's for sure. Let's talk about the tech. You got me wanting to go to California, by the way. You keep on talking about Laguna Beach and San Francisco. I can't wait to get back out to the West Coast. I'm in New York right now, but I got to get back to Hollywood and to San Francisco and Laguna Beach. And California is a beautiful country. It's not even a state. Let me ask you this. The title of your book is I Wish to Live My Life Deliberately.
Yes.
If a person wants to live their life deliberately, what's your best advice?
Be awake, be conscious, notice. Don't just focus on yourself, but look around. What's going on? What are the people doing? Is there somebody that might need your help? I know as a child, I used to carry a black lady's shopping bag back to her apartment because it was heavy for her. So talk to people. Everybody has a story, even now. So that be open to new learning, be open to new experiences, be smart. Don't just be foolish and do weird, strange things that could be damaging. But I was very fortunate in life. A lot of people, particularly men, stepped forward and provided opportunities for me.
Yeah. Well, you're a good person, and sometimes good people recognize other good people, and those good people help you out and give you a helping hand, which is what everybody needs in this life. It was great advice that you left us with there, Doctor, that to be open, to talk to people, and to listen to others. There's a poem called The Desiderata. You might have heard it along the way.
Yes.
And it says,
yes, I have.
Listen to others, even the dull and ignorant, they too have their story. Everybody has a story to tell. And to listen to those people, you will grow as a person yourself. Wonderful book, wonderful lessons from Dr. Patric Leedom. The name of the book is I Wish to Live My Life Deliberately. It's not just a memoir. It's an invitation to join the doctor's exhilarating adventure of pursuing dreams, discovering life's purpose, and navigating those choppy seas from time to time. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
I wanted to hitchhike on your comment of listening. There's such a thing as active listening, so that when a person's telling you a story, join them in their story. Listen, stop thinking in your own head, listen to what they're saying, stop occasionally, say, now this is what I think I'm hearing. Is that right? And gives them a chance to correct. I taught that in factories. I taught that in my college classes, how to active listening.
Yeah, that's great advice as well. And as a journalist, obviously, I have to follow that advice all the time, that I'm listening, making sure I understand it, because I often have to repeat it back. So I have to make sure I've got it right. Doctor, thanks so much for being our guest today on Spotlight.
You're very welcome.
And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.